When it comes to calling in poker, there's a very thin line between triumph and disaster, and even poker legends like Negreanu and Hellmuth can sometimes make unbelievably bad decisions. In this video, we're breaking down some of the worst calls we've ever seen at the poker table. And make sure to stick around because we've saved the most horrendous call for last. Let's get right into the action. In our first hand, Farha manages to trick Phil Hellmuth into making a questionable call to say the least. Cash games are certainly not Phil's strong suit, and in this hand, you're about to see why. Phil opens the action with Jack-10 offsuit in early position, raising it up to $600. This is already a questionable play from the poker brat. First off, with so many players left to act after you, you're not likely to play in position post-flop. You also run the risk of facing a 3-bet, and your hand is not in great shape against an average 3-betting range. Finally, your hand doesn't fare well in big multi-way pots, and the last thing you want is to get a bunch of callers behind you. Unfortunately for Phil, this is exactly what ends up happening, as Ivy, Farha, and Matazau join in on the action. You can see Phil is already squirming in his seat, and Farha can't resist throwing in a quick needle Phil's way. Farha flops top pair, and Hellmuth flops the second pair. He goes for the c-bet, even though he'd probably be better off checking and controlling the size of the pot with his marginal hand. Sam makes the call, confident he has the best hand at the moment. Pretty standard spots so far, but things are about to get a lot more interesting on the turn. The turn is a king of diamonds, giving Phil an open-ended straight draw. Sam's hand also improves as he gets a flush draw. Phil doesn't like that king at all, so he doesn't go for the double barrel. Sammy can certainly take a stab at the pot right away, but he decides to see a free river card instead. The river is a 6 of spades, a harmless card from Phil's perspective. He goes for a tiny $800 blocker bet, hoping to get a cheap showdown. Of course, Sammy smells weakness like a shark smelling blood, and he immediately goes for a raise. Phil's only holding a bluff catcher, and a pretty weak one at that. In this spot, Phil's bluff catcher is good less than 20% of the time, making this a losing call in the long run, but he makes the call anyway. Of course, Mike Matazau immediately scolds Phil, saying what the whole table's thinking.
All right, buddy, I call.
That's a bad call.
Sammy smooth talks Phil into paying him an extra $2,000 as he wins the pot.
I told you it was a bad call before a hand was turned over. As bad as I'm playing, I knew that was a bad call.
Would you call with a king in that?
That was a horrible.
You get a flush draw too?
Yeah, I picked up flush.
Yeah, picked up
When the king hit.
Slow play.
Slow played. Well, I don't know.
It's a big hand on the turn.
If he had it,
What do you want me to do?
Phil, as good as you play, which you do play good, I think that was a bad
if he
call.
had ace.
Not the best play from Phil, but it's nothing compared to the horrendous calls we have coming up next. Speaking of overplaying your hand, next up, Vanessa Selbst picks up pocket queens on the button and decides to flat call against Doyle's open raise. When you're dealt a premium pair, you're usually better off 3-betting, and soon you'll see why. Instead of 3-betting, Vanessa goes for a trickier play. The problem with this approach is inviting potential multi-way pots and allowing weaker hands to crack your premium pair. Antonio Esfandiari comes along for the ride, and Phil Ruffin goes for a set mine with pocket 3s. Ruffin's known for more of his business acumen than his card-playing skills, but in this hand, he manages to outplay the pros. Vanessa flops an overpair, and Ruffin spikes his lucky set, giving him a huge 66% of the equity in this 4-way pot. And now, you're about to see why you don't want to allow a big multi-way pot with pocket queens. Antonio flops top pair, and he thinks he has the best hand for the time being. But his hand is very vulnerable to getting outdrawn, so he fires a big, almost full pot bet. Ruffin is loving the action so far, and he slow plays his set, not looking to reveal his hand strength just yet. The action is back on Vanessa, and she goes for a massive raise. She believes she has the best hand, but a lot of turn cards could completely kill the action. Interestingly, Ruffin gets so excited he almost acts out of turn. When it comes to physical tells, it doesn't get any clearer than this. Ruffin is holding a monster, and unless you're holding something like a top set, you should be looking for the door. Antonio takes the hint and quickly mucks his hand, but somehow all this jittering from Ruffin goes completely over Vanessa's head. Calling would be bad enough, but just look what Vanessa does here.
All right, I'm all in.
Call. Snap call. And she knows she's dead now.
Yeah. Nice in.
Vanessa looks like she's in shock.
You want how many? Do you want to run it more than once or
No.
no?
He might not know what running it twice means, but he knows if Vanessa asks, it's a bad idea.
Nice hand.
I would call that a super amazing hand, actually.
Good time for him.
What was I doing in that pot?
A club. Yeah.
And Vanessa looks like the dejected amateur, and Ruffin looks like the
That broke the world.
calm pro in this one.
That was you?
2 outs.
9-10 of diamond.
And High Stakes Poker Season 7 is officially started.
Vanessa's mistake here was classic. She overvalued her overpair in a multi-way pot and missed Phil Ruffin's obvious set tell. But now, let's get back to the video, where we're about to see what happens when a player ignores every red flag imaginable at the poker table. Our next hand comes from the 2013 Poker Caribbean Adventure, and Scott Seiver finds himself in a dream spot. Dan Shack opens the action with King-Jack of diamonds, and Greg Jensen makes the call with King-Queen of hearts. Scott is in the hijack, and he looks down at pocket aces, a perfect spot to go for a 3-bet squeeze. He goes for a relatively small 3-bet, looking to get action with his monster hand. He gets 2 callers, and we go 3 ways to the flop. What you're about to see next is some of the craziest action I've ever seen in high-stakes tournaments. The flop is 10-9-9 rainbow, a decent flop for pocket aces. Shack and Jensen pick up an inside straight draw, and Shack is the first to act. With so many chips in the middle, Shack feels like there's no turning back now. He has very few outs available, and if he wants to maximize his chance of winning this hand, there's only one thing he can do. And if that wasn't crazy enough, Jensen does the same thing. Seiver doesn't have to think for long, and he snaps them off with his overpair. No dramatic board run out this time, as an ace on the turn seals the deal, giving Seiver a boat. Scott ended up winning the event, winning the top prize of over $2 million. When interviewed after the event, he remained humble, crediting his win to good luck at a crucial moment. "It's easy when you get dealt aces and other players go all in," he said. That was quite a costly call, but at least the guys had some equity to fall back on. But the same can't be said for the next player. This next call is so bad, the player didn't even want to show his hand at the end. We're at the 2014 European Poker Tour in Barcelona, and Neil Farrell opens the action with ace-jack offsuit on the button. Benjamin Lamprecht flat calls with pocket nines from the small blind. Oliver Price is getting a good price on a call, so he joins the action from the big blind. Pretty standard stuff so far, but wait till you see the flop. Lamprecht flops top set, an absolute monster hand. The only question is, what's the best way to extract value from his opponents? This can be a bit of a challenge as he's playing out of position, and there aren't many weaker hands that could give him action here. He quickly checks, letting his opponents do the betting for him. For some unknown reason, Price decides to lead out with a bet. He has no hand at all, except a very remote possibility of catching a backdoor straight. A questionable play to say the least, but not the worst you'll see in this hand. Farrell makes the call, holding nothing but 2 overcards. Lamprecht is loving the action, and he goes for a check raise. I'm not really a fan of this line, as continuing to slow play would arguably be a better option. Flat calling would allow his opponent to keep making mistakes on future streets, and maybe even catch with their hand strength. Also, the board is so dry that your top set isn't in any immediate danger of getting outdrawn. Price does lay it down, and the action is back on Farrell. Surely he has to fold his hand now, right? He makes the call anyway. I have no idea what the game plan is here, but I guess we'll find out soon enough. The turn is an 8 of hearts, not really changing anything for either player. Lamprecht jams the rest of his stack in the middle. Alright, now Farrell has to fold. He wasted some chips on the flop there, but it's not the end of the world. Just fold the hand and cut your losses. Nope, he still makes the call with ace high. Farrell's call was tragic, but even elite players like Daniel Negreanu, known for his razor-sharp reads, have moments where the pressure leads to disaster. What happens when a flop straight runs into the coldest possible cooler? Let's take a look. Next up, you're about to see one of Daniel Negreanu's most costly mistakes ever. He opens the action with 10-9 of hearts, raising it up to $2,000. Eric Lindgren makes the call with pocket eights, looking to set mine. Nothing spectacular so far, but then the flop comes. The flop is Queen 8 Jack Rainbow, giving Lindgren a bottom set, and Daniel flops a straight. For context, the chance of flopping a straight with 10-9 suited is only 1.29%. Negreanu immediately goes for a big c-bet, hoping to get some value on this action flop. Lindgren quickly calls, convinced he has the best hand at the moment. An absolute crazy hand so far, but believe it or not, it's about to get even crazier on the turn. Lindgren improves to 4 of a kind and Negreanu keeps barreling, firing almost a full pot bet. Eric continues to slow play, simply flat calling Daniel's bet. This is by far the best play for a few reasons. First of all, he's holding the stone cold nuts, meaning he doesn't have to worry about any river cards. In fact, he's hoping Daniel's hand improves on the river, making it more likely to get paid off. For example, if Daniel was holding something like ace-queen or queen-jack, he would absolutely love for him to improve to a full house. Also, slow playing conceals Lindgren's hand strength, giving Daniel an opportunity to fire a third shell if he had some sort of bluff. The river is an ace of hearts, a terrible card from Daniel's perspective. Not only is he now potentially losing to a stronger straight, he could also lose if Eric's holding some ace-8 combo. Still, Daniel's hand is good enough to get action by some weaker hands, so he fires a third shell, betting $25,000 into an already massive pot. And now, he's about to get the bad news.
Eric again, taking a lot of time here.
You played the tournament today, John?
All in.
This is getting so sick. How can I flop the nuts every single hand and lose? I mean, what in the world is going on? Are you kidding me?
That was a no.
You gotta be just kidding me.
Have you played any of the larger?
Daniel, who's generally very mild-mannered, has reached the end of his rope here.
Oh, yeah.
This is about the 4th, 5th time that he's flopped the nuts and he's gotten raised on the river.
What good is it?
He's called every time.
Oh, brother, man.
Now, if any time he shouldn't call, it's this time.
You guys just be kidding me.
There is nothing that he can beat except a bluff.
Thanks.
Eric is not raising with ace-queen. He's not raising with queen-jack.
Oh, man, this is just so sick.
He might raise with
How
king-10.
much is it? He doesn't have king 10. We know that.
Daniel has eliminated that hand. There was no flush draw on the flop.
Just go so sick.
Here, I count. 72-7. 72-7.
Daniel should realize in this hand that he's beat.
How
But
much is it?
you just get shell-shocked after a while.
Yeah.
You think that someone sometime is going to make a move on you.
This is nuts. How can I flop the nuts every hand and lose? How can I always lose? I gotta figure out a hand that he has. Hang on, this can take me a second. Ace-8 he could have.
Daniel, you got to figure out a hand you could beat, not that he could have.
25 on the turn, right? No. 12 on the turn. King 10. I don't think you're gonna raise me. Pocket jacks. You might raise me.
Why isn't this an easy
Can't figure
laydown
out a
for
hand
Daniel,
you
Gabe?
could have.
He's just shell-shocked. You constantly feel that after you have bad luck that people are going to take shots at you. And he must feel
man.
that Eric Lindgren is capable of taking a shot here. But the question he's not really asking himself is, what did Eric Lindgren call on the flop and the turn with? Could he have a hand like
72,700.
Jack 10, Jack 9, and just be raising here, trying to take away the pot? Seems like Daniel's convincing himself that that's what's going on.
Well, it's a $72,000 decision.
Having
72.7
fun.
to be exact.
Flopping the nuts. My credit's good, so I can get more money.
It would make this pot, by itself, almost $250,000.
31. What in the world do you got? I don't know. No idea. $72.7, right?
Doesn't look like Daniel's going to get away from this.
I just don't. I don't know what he has. I have no idea. I'm just gonna call. Full house is good.
4-8s.
4-8s. That's about right.
You have to feel bad for Daniel here. His hand went from an absolute monster on the flop to a pitiful bluff catcher on the river. The only problem is Eric is almost never bluffing here after Daniel has shown so much strength throughout the hand. If there was ever a time to make a hero fold, this would be it. But against his better judgment, Daniel makes the call anyway. You can't really blame him here, as 99% of players would probably play the same way. But what's wild is that Negreanu's nightmare hand wasn't his worst moment. Just one session later, he made a call so baffling it left the entire table speechless. We continue the high-stakes cash game action with a massive pot brewing. Doyle Brunson is on the straddle and a bunch of people limp into the pot. Negreanu goes for a massive raise with pocket tens, trying to thin out the field pre-flop. He bets 16,000, 10 times the size of the straddle. But Mike Matusow catches him off guard with a 3-bet. He bumps it up to 45,000, putting massive pressure on Daniel. He'll be playing the hand out of position, making it much harder for him to realize his equity. Also, in big 3-bet pots like this, you'll often be forced to play for stacks, which can put you in a really gross spot if you don't manage to flop an overpair. For reference, the chance of flopping an overpair with pocket tens is only 25%, but Daniel makes the call regardless, and it's about to get a lot worse for him on the flop. He does manage to flop an overpair, but Matusow gets the nut flush draw, which is good enough to jam all in. Matusow makes a massive overbet, over 2 times the pot size. The problem with calling here is that you're coin flipping at best, and your hand is totally dominated at worst if Matusow has a stronger pocket pair. Also, notice that even though Daniel has a stronger hand at the moment, Matusow is actually a favorite to win due to an insane number of outs he has available. After agonizing over it for a while, Daniel makes the call.
About that. I'm all in.
Mike is all in. Another huge decision for Daniel.
I'm gonna need a few minutes probably. Just a pre-warning.
That's a good warning, actually.
Being honest, right?
I like it.
He's all in.
Now, if Mike's got a pair bigger than tens, Daniel is a huge dog.
Yeah, really?
If he's got 2 big clubs like he has, Daniel's even money.
I could flip a coin on this one. Really don't know.
Mike has been playing very snug.
Feels like ace-king.
Well, if Mike has something like ace-king offsuit or ace-queen offsuit, Daniel will be a 75% favorite. Maybe Daniel feels that Mike's flexing his muscles. He doubled up, he's got some chips. He's taking advantage of the tight image to try and make a move here.
I'll be using this in a minute, I think. Oh. Yeah. All right, I call.
All right.
You want to ride twice?
Yep.
You got a pair?
Nope.
Oh, phew. Oh, gosh. It's one of those. I don't see how I can possibly win.
Well, with the amount of money Daniel had in, it was a very good call.
That's the worst hand I could have had.
You're upset I called, Mike?
No, I knew what you had. I thought you had 9s.
Now that I saw your tens. I mean, you might have had 9 1/2s.
I mean, you have a monster. I mean, I realize it.
Run it twice.
Pretty close.
You want to settle some of it?
Doyle knows Mike's the favorite.
Forget it.
Forget it.
It's always good to win the first one. That'd be nice.
Mike's not the favorite anymore.
Sure is always good to win the first one. Real good to win the first one.
Daniel's seen it all before.
Ooh, that's a nice one.
Ooh, that is a really, really good card for you.
Was a good card.
Now there ain't many clubs left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Only gives Mike 6 outs.
I honestly feel like it's coming.
Chop
like,
it out.
Genuinely.
Wait,
really?
but it can't be the 6.
6 of them left?
It can't be the 6 of clubs, so there's 6 of them left.
I really think you're going to win.
And I think I might have had the deuce 3 of clubs,
I hope
but I
you're
might
right.
have had the deuce 3 of spades. I'm
I
not
realize
sure.
you do.
Boom!
Daniel may have overplayed his hand a bit, but that's poker for you. Sometimes you're lucky, sometimes you're not. But for this next hand, there's absolutely no excuse. We're back at the European Poker Tour, and Gilles Bernias open races with pocket 2s. Dmitry Urbanoivich defends with king 3 suited, and we go heads up to the flop. Both players miss the flop, but Bernias still goes for the standard c-bet. This ace-high board favors his range, and he's thinking he can push his opponent out of the pot quite often. But Urbanoivich still makes the call with his backdoor flush draw. Bernias spikes a set on the turn and almost starts hyperventilating, but somehow this totally goes over his opponent's head. The river is a 10 of hearts, and Urbanoivich misses his flush draw. The only thing left to do now is count your losses, right?
Hi. Whiffer, whiffer, chicken sniffer. Checks. Pretty safe board to go for value with a set of deuces. And go for value, he will. To the tune of 1.1 million. Now, the best indicator of future behavior is past behavior, meaning Gilles might just be punting here again as far as Dimitri's concerned. I hear you, brah. I think Dimitri might just be overthinking this, though. He's only got king high. We saw Gilles make a bad hero call earlier. Is Dimitri going to follow in his footsteps? Yes!
That was one of the worst calls I've seen in a while, but this next one really gives it a run for its money. We've seen some terrible calls so far, but this next one is by far the worst call I have ever seen. I haven't seen something this bad even at my local 1-2 cash game, let alone in any high-stakes poker match. This hand comes from the LA Bicycle Casino, and we have a massive multi-way pot brewing. 5 players in the hand, and somehow everybody checks through the flop. Eric Persson has an open-ended straight draw on the turn and leads out with a bet. Everybody gets out of the way except Yo Viral. He has pocket 6s, and that's good enough for him. The river's an ace, giving Persson the straight. He goes for a massive $50,000 overbet, betting more than 2 times the pot size. There's no good way to describe what happens next, so just sit back and watch this train wreck unfold.
I'm not losing much, but like, Vivian just tilted the fuck out of me.
Me too.
I'm unstuck.
You know, if I have one more time trip, I call.
Nothing at all.
For sure.
Oh my gosh.
You're gonna call it.
Eric Persson, 2x pot size.
It makes no
bet.
sense. Like fuck you.
50,000.
And then
Straight.
I have a very weekend, Eric, but this doesn't make sense to
Every
me.
time I'm gonna call, I snap call.
This doesn't make sense to me.
Gonna fold if I use, no matter how many times.
I just don't see how Yo makes his call, but Yo is one of the sickest players that I know.
I was just almost called. I don't know why I didn't. Maybe your jacket's too tight and it's cut off oxygen.
Appreciate it.
What you looking for, my friend?
I'm looking how you feel. If you feel good, if you feel stressed, if you feel tense. Because I want to make an hero call. You know me, huh? You know me, huh? What is that shit? Bro, you're saying me you have a flush or you bluff me. You're betting 50k, the pot is 23k.
I'm stuck. I'm stuck 300.
That would be very smart to do in a value because I'm the non-believer person. You check the flop with a flush draw? You, Eric? Really? You check the flop with a flush draw? You, Eric? Bro, I don't care. Like, if people would see me making those calls, they would be like, who is this fucking fish? And I don't care. I don't care what they think. I fucking don't care what they think. Right, do I care about what people think? Nope. Show me a flush.
That's too fair.
Okay. I called you with 6s. I don't care.
He doesn't care, ladies and
You
gentlemen.
played good. You played good. That's very smart.
Fun fact, when someone says they don't care, 100% of the time, they actually care. A lot. Yo Viral probably cried himself to sleep that night, but at least he held it together for the stream. But sometimes when the pressure's too much to bear, the trash talk stops, and poker gets downright violent. So if you want to see what happens during poker's most explosive physical showdowns, then click on this video right here. We'll see you there.